And just like that, we are back in business. Welcome back, y'all, to another edition of... Let's wait for it. My watch page is just about to pop on. All right. So now that my watch page has officially popped on, welcome back to another wacky, wild edition of Wake 'em Up Wednesday, the only real truth and comedy podcast of its kind. Are you guys ready to have some fun tonight? All right, I already see some of my party people in the house. Truth Hurts is here. One of my mods, Rose Bell, is here. Hi, Rose. All right, people showing up already. Good times. We got Cactus Jack. He says, hey, guys. Signs of Play. What's up? What's up? All right. You guys ready to get this show on the road? Yes, you are, huh? All right. Yes, exactly. Miss Legend says, let's go. All right. All right. Another Wednesday is upon us. And we got a continuation of last week's story about the virus outbreak script. So we're going to be continuing with that. But I also got a few other subjects to talk about tonight. It's going to be a good show. I promise. Don't go anywhere. And before we even kick things off, let's go ahead and hit the thumbs up right here, right now, because it's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good show. So go ahead and show your appreciation to get things started. Let the algorithm know that we mean business, that we are here. Hit the thumbs up. Let this system know. Let the platform know that this is what you like and this is what you appreciate. All right. So with that said, let's go ahead and knock out the super chats. I had some super chats come in before the show even kicked off, like 3 hours before the show even started. So I have to go back and pull up the watch page and show you guys the first super chat that came in. Surprise, surprise. It was from RY. And he wants me to do Ben Shapiro telling people not to eat mouse poo-poo. Richie from Boston interjecting and assuring people not to worry because of his organic Bible. Vape juice gives immunity. All right, buddy. Here we go. Kicking it off for RY. Folks, I shouldn't have to say this, but please don't go anywhere where there is copious amounts of rat feces. And if you do happen to encounter some possible rat or mouse droppings, please, dear God, don't ingest the rat feces. It's not a good idea. So people, if you don't want to catch hantavirus, all you have to do is just simply not ingest rat poo-poo. Is that too much to ask? Well, it seems so, because right now we're dealing with a possible hantavirus outbreak because somebody just decided it was a good idea to ingest rat feces. We got to think better, people. We have to make better choices.
All right, I'm going to stop you right there. What this guy is doing right here, this Ben Shapiro character, he's spreading misinformation and disinformation. All right, there's no such thing as this virus that they're talking about. What's really going on? These symptoms are being caused by the Chinese nano drones, which have implanted themselves in many millions of people's anuses, and they don't even know what's going on. And all these symptoms are that of the Chinese nano AIDS. And they're trying to distract people from what I've been saying for years, what's going on inside of people's rectums. So this is a huge distraction. Don't listen to this Ben Shapiro character. In fact, what you're going to want to do to get rid of all the Chinese nano drones, you're going to want to vape my extra strength organic Bible vape juice plus. In fact, it's all I've been vaping for the past week, and I can assure you there is not a single Chinese nano drone in my ass right now. You're going to want to use my promo code down below. You're going to want to like, share, and subscribe, or don't. It's Richie from Boston. I'm out.
There you go. Knocking out that first super chat, which came in like 3 hours ago. Thank you, RY. I appreciate the super early super chats. RY takes pride in being the first to send a super chat, and he takes advantage of it the second that the stream gets set up. RY's there with these super chats. RY says, Trump recently remarked, not even a little bit, when he was asked about his consideration of Americans' economic concerns on Iran war. Can you please do an impression of Trump saying this like Arnold, screw your freedoms? All right, you know what we're going to need to do? Because in order to get the right motivation, I should just go ahead and pull up that video. So I looked it up because I saw your super chat come in so early. So I had to go find the video you were talking about, and it's quick. It's only a minute long. So to get me into character and get everybody on the same page, we'll just go ahead and show the video clip. How does that sound? All right. So this one coming in from RY.
Financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about American financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all. That's the only thing that matters.
Support journalism.
President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations
when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about American financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon.
All right, I got it. I got to say, that's one of the most clear, crispy versions of Trump that I've seen in a while. It's almost like they wheeled out their finest Trump impersonator, their best doppelganger, or perhaps this is the actual Donald Trump. But I got to say, this is one of the cleanest, crispiest versions of Trump I've seen in a while. All right. So right now, I got to tell you, I'm not concerned about Americans' financial situation at all. I'm not thinking about it at all whatsoever. The only thing I care about is that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon. You expect me to care about Americans' financial situations? Let me go ahead and assure you, I have no problem with money, all right? I've got more money than I know what to do with, all right? And Americans, they'll do what's necessary to get through this. Right now, I got to think about what's most important. And your financial situation, not important to me right now. What's really important, making sure that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon. Because let's be honest, if Iran is to get a nuclear weapon, very bad things could happen. They could blow us up, all right? So if you get blown up, then your financial situation won't really matter at all. So one of the reasons why I don't give a flying hootenanny about your financial situation is because I'm more worried about Iran possibly using a nuclear weapon on our country, which would be a very, very bad thing. So right now, you can take your freedom and you can shove it where the sun don't shine. As one of my good friends once said, Arnold, the former governor of California, he once said these words, these famous words, screw your freedom. All right. And so I'm going to go ahead and take that same stance right now. I'm going to say, screw your freedom. Arnold, he's a lot of genius. He said a lot of great things, that guy. So I have to agree. Right now, your financial situation does not matter. The only thing that matters right here, right now, is that Iran does not get a nuclear weapon. There you go. Little Trump action for you there. All right. I think all the rest of the super chats I can now pull up without having to use the watch page. Let me make sure. All right. Oop. One second. There we go. All right, so the first two super chats came in from RY, and then the rest of the super chats, yeah, now I can pull up on the main screen, such as new member Negan. Welcome to the club, Negan. All right, and Sagon 1964able with a very generous donation says, "Thank you, Jake, for all that you do. How about JP Morgan and Eric Dubay having an interview from Richie from Boston on their experience with Richie from Boston's organic Bible vape juice?" All right, I got to be honest with you. Off the top of my head, I don't know how JP Morgan sounds. I'm not up to date on the voice of JP Morgan, but what I can tell you is that I will never forget the monotone that is Eric Dubay. In fact, nobody's seen Eric Dubay do a live stream pretty much ever. You can only hear Eric Dubay reading in this same cadence at this same speed. You might find old interviews, but you won't find an example of Eric Dubay deciding to do a live stream. In fact, I have to wonder if the current version of Eric Dubay's channel is completely run by AI. I mean, how hard would it be to have AI read a script while showing still shots on the screen? I don't think it would be that hard to keep people thinking that Eric Dubay is in control of his channel when all you really need is a voice to do this and some still shots and video clips appearing on screen. I mean, again, it's not like we've ever seen the guy go live and explain what he's been up to for the last several years. He supposedly came back from Thailand and is now living in Maine, just making the same videos he's been making for the last 15 years.
All right. I got to stop you right there. So, one thing this guy hasn't done, he's done great work at exposing that the earth is not a globe. And that's why I will always be indebted to Eric Dubay for waking me up to the flat earth truth. However, he doesn't talk about the Chinese nano drones, and I find that to be highly suspicious. So if I don't hear word back from Eric Dubay, because I've sent him an email, if I don't hear back from Eric Dubay, I'm going to have to assume that by chance they might have gotten to him. And by they, you know who I'm talking about. Now, he may be infested with Chinese nano drones, and he may have lost the ability to make his own decisions. Or the guy might be completely taken over by the Chinese nano drones, and we'll never get the old Eric back. But I sent him an email, and hopefully Eric gets back to me very soon. At any rate, like, share, and subscribe, or don't. This is Richie from Boston. Make sure to order my organic Bible vape juice. I'm out.
All right. So I can give you Eric and I can give you Richie from Boston, but I got to admit that I don't really know what JP Morgan sounds like. So I had to leave JP Morgan out of the bunch. But one thing I can throw in as an extra bonus, as an encore, little Jack Morgan. I don't really know who JP Morgan is, and I don't really know what he sounds like, but wow, take a hit, metaphorically speaking. Maria, we sound good. Yeah, you guys see that there's this cruise ship, and now there's this supposed deadly virus that we got to worry about? Yeah, if it's not one thing, it's another. I had to get rid of Nestor because he wasn't pulling his weight around here. You know, he was causing people to click away. So now that we've got rid of him, we've seen the views go down. So, I don't know. Maybe it's me. Maybe people, their attention spans just is shortening. I don't really know what's going on, but I think if I continue to break down the TikToks, I can get it figured out for you guys. Take a hit. Buy a Caddy Daddy t-shirt. It's good talk. Good talk. All right, there you go. I gave you some Jack Morgan instead. It's close enough. JP Morgan, Jack Morgan. It's basically the same guy, same thing. LaFleur Network says, wake 'em up Wednesday. Let's go. Hey, Davey D, I saw your video talking about how you didn't have your monetization go through, and that sucks to hear, buddy. But it's been happening to a lot of people across the platform. So best you can do is just wait a little while and then reapply. So I've seen people get demonetized and then they reapply 2-3 months later or 3 months later, whatever it is, and then they get approved. And so things can change on this platform year to year, month to month. You know, it goes through times where it's shitty for everybody. And right now it's kind of tough on YouTube. I'm seeing big channels not get anywhere near as many views as they have in the past. And so right now it's looking like even channels with millions of subs are starting to struggle. So tough times on YouTube. And you know what? That's why I'm glad I got my hardcore group of followers here. And we do things different than the other channels around here so that we can get through these hard times. So hopefully you stick with it. And one day you can have a breakthrough here on this platform, buddy. I'm rooting for you. All right. Big Money Bob gifting 5 Jake the Awake memberships. This guy is like a real life Santa Claus, except he's way cooler than Santa Claus ever dreamed of being because he's real. You got Big Money Bob gifting Jake the Awake memberships. So if you get one of these memberships randomly bestowed upon you, make sure to thank Big Money Bob. RY says, Jake, thank you for the Trump impression. You are the man. Hey, RY, thank you for the layup super chat here, buddy. And you support the show every single week. And I really appreciate it, man. I know you love your impressions. And, you know, not everybody loves the impressions as much as you. But, hey, you know what? You're paying for it. And we're having fun doing it. And you know what? So as long as you enjoy it and we're on time here, man. Glad you are enjoying the show. And we're going to have a strong show tonight because I got some funny clips for you guys that I dug up that I wasn't expecting to find. I got some stuff that nobody's expecting me to show. So I got some typical shit you might be expecting me to show. And I got some stuff that nobody's expecting tonight. So should be a good one. So definitely stick around, y'all. Itchy Yonder or Itchy Ander says, or doesn't say anything. He giving away 5 Jake the Awake gifted memberships. Awesome. More gifting of the Jake the Awake memberships. All right. You guys are awesome tonight. Tons of support coming in already. Davey D from the LaFleur Network says, that clip you showed was CGI Trump. Half of his head was missing on the top right side. Big shout out to everyone that's participating in the live chat. We can show it again here in a bit. That was a clip that's making its rounds right now, so it's a bit of a trending clip. So perhaps I can show it because I'm noticing several of the channels are all airing the same clip. So they're trying to get people pissed off at Trump right now so that they can usher in their next liberal president. Selected candidate, most likely. All right. Doxological Thinker says, Jake, we need Jake the Awake Health Organization because unlike the WHO, you are out here actually making a difference, keeping up the amazing work. Also, it should be called Santa V instead because it doesn't exist. Oh, Santa virus. The Santa virus because it doesn't exist. Good one. Yeah, Hauntavirus. They made it as spooky of a name as possible, right? Ooh, it's very haunting. You do not want to catch the Hauntavirus. It will haunt you. Ha, 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 ha. Right? Exactly. RY says, Roseanne infected with the mouse poop virus on the ship. So, you know, I tried to go on vacation, you know, on a luxury vacation, and it turned into a fucking nightmare. Somebody on board, you know, they like died because of ingesting some fucking rat shit or something. So now I have to quarantine in Nebraska for the next month and a half. It's like I'm in fucking prison.
some people don't mind because they don't have a fucking life, but I have a show, I have things to do, I can't be stuck here in quarantine, but I guess it could be worse, right now I'm not showing any symptoms and I haven't tested positive, but some other people have died, so it's kind of fucking scary. But, we got to do what we got to do to, like, keep this contagion from, like, spreading across the globe or whatever. There you go. Little Roseanne. RY wants me to do Brian Young talking about that Trump clip.
Hey, guys, just to show you what President Trump recently said, and we all know this is a huge distraction from the Epstein files and what went on Epstein's Island. But furthermore, this clip just proves that Trump doesn't care about Americans' financial situation. And with the rising cost of gas, everybody's going broke at an alarming rate. And right now you got Trump. Of course, he sleeps at night on a pillow made of silk in Mar-a-Lago. Meanwhile, all of us debt-wage slaves, we're stuck having to deal with the backlash from his war with Iran. And of course, they're distracting everyone from the real truth about the Epstein files. Hey guys, Brian here.
All right, there's a little Brian for you. I think we're all caught up, almost caught up with super chats. One more from D. Cran says, Jake, if we don't see Ralph tonight, we are calling for a wellness check. Some viewers question if he is real or AI. No, he's very real. He's laying down in the corner, but I can put him on camera real quick. Come on, Ralph. Come on. You got people asking about the Ralph dog.
Come here, puppy. Come here, puppy. Oh, there's the Pippi. There's Ralph Pippi. See? There him is. There's the Ralpher Diggies.
They're asking about you, Ralph. No, he's been doing good. We went on a couple walks already today. It wasn't too hot, but it's starting to get hot. And so we went on a couple walks already. And then when I stream, he usually just chills and takes a nap and waits patiently for me to finish. And then we go on another walk once I finish. So he pretty much knows if I start talking to the computer screen that he's got to take a nap. And that when I finish talking to the computer screen, it's walk time.
There you go. There you go, buddy.
So there's Ralph. Let me tell you something, people. There's no such thing as a Ralphie. He's an animatronic robot dog, people. Let me tell you something. You need to wake your ass up right now. He's a AI beagle, people. Let me tell you something. Doxological Thinker says, can you do Asian gang lady offering to take care of hantavirus?
You don't want no hantavirus. We take care of it all for you. We Asian lady gang. We kill anyone you want. You give us the money. We kill the people. We take away the body. We do all that for you. You don't have to worry about nothing. And we never get caught. We have a spotless record. No one ever get caught from Asian lady gang. You never see news where Asian lady assassin that work for our gang get caught. Never, because we do such a good job. You hire Asian lady gang, we kill whoever you want, and then we dispose of the body. It's good. You hire Mexican gang, they do a bad job. You hire Canadian gang, they do a bad job. You hire Asian lady gang, we do the best job. And then we also give you rub down. We give you tuggy $5. Right now, you wanted to get rid of the hantavirus. We take care of it. We get rid of the hantavirus. 50,000. You give us 50,000. We make sure hantavirus go away forever. No quarantine. You give us 50,000. We make sure you never hear about hantavirus ever again. We do a good job.
All right, there you go. The Asian lady gang getting rid of the hantavirus only costs 50,000, and they'll get rid of the hanta for you. Seems like a good deal, and they'll give you a the hookup on a tug job as well. The rub and tug. Sounds like a good deal. All right, RY wants fittest flat earther saying that Hanta is a shape-shifting COVID virus.
So what people don't understand is not only do these shapeshifters like to change form, but also viruses are also known to be linked to these fallen angels. And fallen angels have DNA of the Nephilim. So whenever you hear about a virus, what it is essentially a piece of the DNA of the Nephilim, and it can mutate or shapeshift. So whenever you hear about viruses mutating, what they're really doing is shapeshifting. So at any point, if you hear about a virus, they can change the rules of how that virus operates because, quite frankly, it's a shape-shifting entity. So once a virus shapeshifts, then they can say that the virus has morphed or has transformed into a different virus. But what's really going on, it shapeshifted.
Yeah, there you go. So I haven't checked in on that guy in a while, and I took a peek at one of his recent videos. He's now saying, and I'm not kidding, Fittest Flat Earther is now saying that Macaulay Culkin is Bengals quarterback Joe Burrow and Kid Rock. That's right. Macaulay Culkin is Kid Rock and Joe Burrow, according to Fittest Flat Earther. Oh, and that's not all. They're all Harry Houdini. Yeah. So now Harry Houdini is Macaulay Culkin, is Joe Burrow, is Kid Rock. According to Fittest Flat Earther. Not even kidding. I don't want to spend the stream showing that that asshole's stupid video, but yep. If you didn't think that he could make any more ridiculous, retarded content than he's already made, think again. He's actively one-upping himself with the retardedness with each and every upload. All right. With that said, you guys ready to dive into today's show? All right. All right, go ahead and smack the thumbs up button. We're going to go ahead and start pulling up the news clips now. We'll get the show started. I figured we would start the show with the top story about the cruise ship, which they've been talking about now for like a week, maybe a little over a week. So they've stuck with this story now for a while, and now they even have supposed passengers in quarantine currently in Nebraska. So we'll go back and take a quick look at this story here.
The 16 Americans currently under close watch in Nebraska are still asymptomatic for hantavirus this morning. 15 of them currently being held in a quarantine unit, but one passenger who has tested positive but feels okay is in a biocontaminant unit. That passenger, Dr. Stephen Cornfield, detailed his experience aboard the cruise ship last night.
Early in April, maybe the 10th or so, a number of us on board came down with felt like a flu-like illness or the ship's flu. I had 3 days of night sweats, a lot of chills, some mild respiratory.
3 days, he says. They keep bringing up the number 3, right? So 3 people evacuated, 3 people died, 33-day cruise. And they're going to bring up the number 3 several other times in the news report. They pepper it in there. And they're also bringing up the number 11. So they'll be like, 3, 11, 9, 11. So pay attention to the use of the numbers in these news reports.
And a lot of fatigue. And while the night sweats and the respiratory stuff cleared up pretty quickly, the fatigue lingered for 2.5 weeks. I was still able to do all the ship activities. And eventually I became completely asymptomatic. At the time, it was felt like this was just some virus.
Dr. Jeanette Neshwat is here to give her medical opinion on this. Dr. Neshwat, great to see you. So interesting to hear from him because, this is a deadly virus, but his symptoms appear to be quite mild. So what should we take away from his experience?
Yeah, absolutely. It makes me wonder, did he maybe have it on the ship and his body was able to overcome it? Or was it another type of virus? And were they all just spreading it to one another? And unfortunately, the two elderly folks that passed from it were maybe had underlying medical conditions, or maybe because they were elderly, they passed away from it. But
all right, so I wanted to point out, now they're showing these shots with people in hazmat suits. So they're making it out like it's important enough that these hazmat suits are necessary.
it really doesn't change the fact that, this is still a rare.
Meanwhile, some of these guys aren't wearing hazmat suits.
Virus. It just happens to be a perfect storm, Carly. You had all these people together in close quarters with repetitive re-encounters with one another. And some of their encounters may have been brief, some of them may have been long, but you got to remember they were on that ship for over a month. So this virus still behaves the same as we once knew it to from many years ago.
All right, so let's just break this down real quick, like as far as like a timeline, like, okay, so these people went on a cruise, and the cruise is supposed to be like a luxury vacation, right? I've never been on a cruise that you stay on overnight or whatever. I've only been on a day cruise where you cruise across like the Monterey Bay for the day. So I've never stayed on one of these big cruises, but this one, this ship isn't a gigantic one with water slides and all the stuff, right? So it's a relatively smaller cruise ship, but they're saying that they were on there for a month. And so it's like you go on this as a vacation. This is supposed to be like a luxury vacation thing to enjoy yourself and relax. But now the story is that these people are locked up in quarantine, being monitored and watched over in Nebraska. And so imagine you get on a ship, you take a cruise, and then somebody on the ship gets sick, supposedly dies. And so now you have to be locked down for the next month and a half, 2 months in Nebraska. So the story, if you really break it down, is kind of crazy. Like, oh, some people went on a vacation and now they're locked down in Nebraska. So think if you went on a cruise and somebody on board gets sick and even dies, supposedly, are you going to let them lock you down for the next month and a half in a facility, right? Are you just going to be like, oh yeah, my job and my family, wife, kids, whatever you might have going on in your life, they can all just take a break right now, and I have to go quarantine in Nebraska for the next month and a half because I went on a ship, right? So any of these people that went on this ship, like they're all just cool with spending a month and a half quarantining in Nebraska. So this is where the script gets strange, that they don't have anyone flipping out over this. So the only person that they have right now making their rounds is this Josh Rossmarin guy, who I'm going to show next, and I showed last week. And they don't have anybody flipping out the fact that they have to spend a month and a half in a Nebraska quarantine unit. So I find that part of the story to be very strange.
It's not new in the sense that it still spreads primarily from inhaling contaminated rodent debris, rodent saliva, droppings, urine, that sort of thing. That is still the primary mode of transmission. For the Sonombre strain that we see in the United States, and even the Andes strain, but that's the one strain that we know can spread rarely from person to person in a situation.
And then look, you got the this hazmat footage right here, but we're just looking at still shots and clips. They're not actually doing anything that warrants having a hazmat suit on. So it's funny, sometimes they'll show this like stock footage of people in the hazmat suits, but it's almost like they're like, okay, we need footage of people in hazmat suits. So here, let's get these Mexicans outside of Home Depot to put on these hazmat suits and walk around and pretend like they're doing something, right? And then we'll film them. Like, we need some stock footage of homeboys in hazmat suits pretending like they're eradicating a deadly disease. You don't even really need to do much. Just pretend like you're doing something.
Like the ship that we're seeing.
A serious virus, and despite the fact that it is difficult to spread, there are a few more cases of it today. Here's the Director General of the World Health Organization giving an update on that. Watch.
11 cases have been reported, including 3 deaths.
Including 3 what?
Watch.
11 cases have been reported, including 3 deaths.
Okay, so he pronounces deaths, deaths. 11 cases have been reported, including 3 deaths, right? So he says the word death, deaths, deaths. So he comes out saying 11 and then 3, 311. Isn't that when the COVID broke out?
All 11 cases are among passengers or crew on the ship. 9 of the 11 have been confirmed as this virus.
And now he just said the numbers 9 and 11. Hey, you guys remember that thing that happened on 9/11? So he just said 3/11 and 9/11, right? Those 2 memorable dates. Does that bring up anything in your head? Oh, it's all coincidence, though. Those dates have nothing to do with these numbers of people he's talking about. It's just a coincidence. 3/11, 9/11 just happens to be a coinky dink.
And the other 2 are probable. Those numbers have changed little over the past week, thanks to the efforts of multiple governments and partners. There have been no deaths since 2nd of May.
So it was at 8 cases, now it's at 11. We are talking low numbers here, but should we be concerned about the increased case count?
Actually, Carly, we expect to see more cases.
We expect to see more cases. All right, all right. Got some super chats building up here. Let me knock these out real quick. Doxological Thinker says, I think we can say with a fair amount of confidence that the actors in Nebraska will have symptoms 33 days after the outbreak. Not so fast. I have a take that I'm going to give later tonight once I got everybody here and once I've set the stage, so to speak, shown all the clips in order to say what I need to say in the right context. I have a take no one's thinking about and nobody else is talking about, which is when you hear it, you're going to be like, oh shit, you might be right, Jake, but nobody's probably thinking about it right now. But when I tell it to you, you're going to be like, dude, that makes so much sense. So stick around for what I have to say tonight about this, because I have a feeling they might go in a different direction than Plandemic 2.0 or the next pandemic, right? They might go in this other direction, and I have an idea of what that other direction could be. So I'll talk about that once I've shown a few more clips. Got everybody here on the same page. All right. But yeah, they've already coded this one with the 33, and they keep bringing up the number 3. And then they just so happen to have Homeboy talking about, oh, there's 11 cases and 3 of them and 9 and 11, right? So he's using 2 dates that have historical significance as far as the world stage is concerned. All of this, cannot be coincidental. It's being done on purpose for sure. And it's being done for those of us with eyes that can see, those of us who know about this sort of thing and can break it down. It's being purposely done so that we catch it and talk about it. Allahumma Amin says, Jake, they are covering up the Disney PDO cruise. Now, see, that's another narrative that might be conspiracy bait. So yes, I heard that there's this Disney cruise that got busted for some PDO stuff, but you got to remember them running all these boat stories at once. It's all part of the same scripted news. It all comes from the same scripted news department, right? All the news is scripted all the time. And so we can't say that they're trying to distract us or they're covering up for anything, because it's all coming from the same people and they lie about everything, right? They make it all up. So right now they could get you to stop paying attention to this and go pay attention to that Disney thing by simply planting this narrative that we're being distracted from it, right? Just like they can plant the narrative that we're being distracted from the Epstein files or being distracted from whatever other story. You know what I mean? So I don't think that we're being distracted from any of their scripted stories, because all of the scripted stories come from them, and they're all here to keep us confused and believing in bullshit. So whichever story we fall for, if you fall for it, they got you right where they want you, believing in a reality that isn't actually real. So it's more like a pick your poison thing. Like, oh, if you're not into this story, here, how about this story? Okay, if you're not into that, well, we got the UFO disclosure. If you're not into that, well, then we got Trump saying that he doesn't care about your finances. And if you don't care about that, then we got the Strait of Hormuz in the Iran war thing going on. If you don't believe that, then we got, see, so as long as they have some story to keep you wrapped up, right? Keep you distracted from something greater than what you're talking about. I think if they're going to distract us from something, they're going to distract us from figuring out that this place isn't what they said it was and nothing's as it seems. And in fact, we might have some sort of superpower that they don't want us to figure out, right? Maybe they don't want us to figure out how to use our superpowers, right? Maybe they don't want us to figure out how to use our brain to its fullest potential. So they make sure to keep us in a dumbed down state at all times, right? Constantly distracted from us figuring out what's really going on. And what's really going on is nothing like what they say is going on. So maybe that's one of the reasons they got to keep us distracted at all times, is to keep us from figuring out that all this shit is not real. So then you figure out who and what you are and what you really want to do with your life outside of their system, right? I don't know. Tough to figure it out when they aren't giving me any tips or any advance warning of what they're going to do, right? So I'm still stuck with you guys in the same boat where I have to wait for them to do whatever it is they do. I can speculate as to what they might do, but they don't tell me what they're going to do. So I have no idea for sure which direction they're going to go for sure, right? So the best we can do is wait for them to do whatever it is they're going to do and then speculate to the best of our ability. But nobody really knows exactly what they're going to do because they hold all the cards. So when they hold all the cards, the best we can do is try and guess into their hand, which can be tricky. They're tricky bastards. They can change the script and flip the script on us whenever they want. All right. RY says, Jake at Joseph Cuevas Pagaling is a new listener whose native language is Italian. Welcome, Joseph Cuevas Pagaling. Hey, welcome to everybody around the world who happens to be tuning in, whether it's your first time or you've been here for a long time. This is what we do. We talk about the trending news stories going on the world stage, and we break it down from a perspective that the news is scripted in advance, well in advance, even years in advance. And so we don't take any of these stories that were given as being true. So instead, we automatically assume that it's a lie, and then we look into it, run it through our point of view from a skeptical point of view. We take a look at it and we skeptically break down the news stories that were being presented. And then I tell you what I think, and then I listen to what you guys think and read comments from you guys. And collectively, as a group, we are basically like our own little community of people who don't accept the mainstream narrative as truth. And we critically look at their stories and break it down step by step. So that's what we do here. And it's kind of like I don't just do it alone. You guys are like a team. So I have you guys here to sometimes spot things that I miss or bring up some news clips that I maybe haven't seen that pertain to this story. So we work as a team here, and this is one of the only places where this sort of thing is happening. So you would be hard pressed to find another group of people breaking down these news stories the way that we do, or the way that I do. Thank you, RY, for the multiple super chats coming in tonight. All right, guys. So right now they're saying that they have this supposed deadly virus quarantined to these patients that they're keeping in Nebraska and a few other people in other countries. But they're also claiming that people may have gotten exposed to these passengers. And so now they're starting to spin some news stories that maybe some other people may have come into contact with these patients. So they could spin the narrative that people outside the facility where the patients are being quarantined may be possibly spreading the disease, which will get people at home to possibly freak out.
But again, it's not going to spread like we saw with, COVID or measles or the flu. But we actually, because of that long incubation period of 6 to 8 weeks, is why we're seeing a few more cases trickle in. And this is the whole purpose of being monitored daily, having your temperature checked, having your oxygen level checked, your blood pressure to make sure it doesn't drop, so that if we notice any signs or symptoms, we can quickly intervene so that you don't end up, hospitalized or critically ill.
So if you are at that Nebraska facility, Dr. Neshwat, and you don't test positive and you don't show any symptoms, officials are now saying that those people will be able to go home in a few days. What do you think about that?
They're not going to keep them there the full month and a half. So they are going to let people go home in a few days. And so they're going to create a counter narrative where they're going to make it look like the public doesn't want them to be let out. So they've already done this in the comment sections. Say, don't let those people off the boat. Don't let those people get off that boat. So they're trying to make it look like the public never wanted these people to get off the boat. So then they can also make it look like the public doesn't want these people to leave the facility. So in the comment section, I'm seeing examples of people like, I can't believe they're going to let those people leave quarantine early. They should have never let them off that boat. So they're spinning a narrative that they're purposely letting these people spread the virus, so they can get people to bite into this narrative that the World Health Organization is purposely mishandling this event. So beware of the comment sections where there's a bunch of bots who are advocating for these people to be locked up and kept away from the public. And of course, we had the poster boy for the whole thing, Josh Rossmarin, and he's being used in all of the mainstream media interviews, I've noticed, more so than everyone else. So they're not really giving a voice to these passengers being kept in quarantine, except for one guy seems to be doing all the speaking for everybody. So let me catch everyone up with this fella, Josh Rossmarin. So we saw this last week. So for anyone who missed the show last week, let me catch it up real quick.
I normally wouldn't make a video like this, but I feel like I need to say something, so I wrote a few things down. I am currently on board the MV Hondius, and what's happening right now is very real for all of us here. We're not just a story. We're not just headlines. We're people with families, with lives, with people waiting for us at home. There's a lot of uncertainty, and that's the hardest part. All we want right now is to feel safe, to have clarity, and to get home. So if you're seeing coverage about this, just remember that there are real people behind it, and that this isn't something happening somewhere far away. It's happening to us right now. I'll share more when I can, but for now, I just ask for your kindness and understanding. Thank you.
All right. So they got this fella making the rounds right now. And he's been doing more and more interviews. So let me show you what he's talking about now. He's got a different attitude and a different vibe now.
And now to the latest on the deadly cruise ship hantavirus outbreak. The World Health Organization has issued a warning. They say the hantavirus incubation period could last up to 6 weeks, so global leaders should be ready for more cases. Right now, 18 cruise ship passengers are in quarantine in the U.S., 16 at a facility in Omaha, Nebraska, 2 in Atlanta, and health officials in Illinois are now investigating a possible hantavirus case in Winnebago County. They believe the man contracted hantavirus at home and has not been in contact with anyone from the cruise ship. One of those quarantine passengers is Jake Rosemarin, a Monroe, New York native, joining me now live from Nebraska. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you feeling this morning? I mean, this must have been so trying throughout.
I'm feeling good being here. I feel really safe and well taken care of at this facility. I think for me, being on that ship for those extra 7 days when there was a lot of unknown was the scariest part of it all. And right now I'm here. I know I'm in the best care possible. I'm just trying to stay positive.
Yeah, I want to.
Oh, it's a whole different vibe now, you guys. Now he's happy and he's safe, right? Doesn't seem so upset. So, again, let's think about this step by step. Like logically. So this guy went on a cruise for vacation purposes, right? To enjoy himself, to relax. Isn't that what a cruise is? It's like supposed to be like a luxurious, relaxing vacation. And on this cruise, everything was honky-dory. Everyone was having a great time until somebody then just gets sick and dies. And then what? So you're telling me they test the dead body and they go, holy shit, this person died of hantavirus. Like who on board the cruise ship tests the first dead body, comes to the conclusion that it's like, how do they decide? Time out, party's over. Oh my God, cut the music, everyone out of the pool. Holy shit, there is a deadly outbreak on this boat. Like, at what point does it go from like, we're on a cruise and having fun, Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I want to take it down to Kokomo. We're on a cruise, we're gonna take it slow. And then like, oh my God, shut the music off. Everybody line up. We have to test everybody. Somebody's dead. It's the hantavirus. Now we have to test everybody. In fact, everybody lock yourselves up in your room. In fact, you're not even going to be let off the ship now. Guys, at some point, this would have had to have happened, right? In this story. For this story that they're telling us to make sense, they would have had to have went from like, yeah, we're on a cruise. This is so fun. Doing what cruise people do, to like, oh my God, it's a deadly outbreak on board. Everybody lock yourselves in your room, right? And then they're told, okay, you guys, we're going to take you back home, but we're going to have to lock you down in a quarantine facility. And you're telling me people didn't lose their shit? Like if you went on a cruise and they were like, okay, someone on board got sick, so now you have to spend the next month and a half in Nebraska locked up like a prisoner while they monitor you 24 hours a day. Wouldn't you be like, fuck no, that's not happening. No, I'm going home and you're not going to stop, right? So nobody is freaking the fuck out about having to be locked up in Nebraska. Instead, they got the one guy who was freaking out about possibly getting sick and stuff. Instead, now he's happy that he's safe in quarantine. The one guy who they're letting do all the speaking. So one guy represents the whole group, does all the talking, and he's happy that he's safe. While he's locked up like a prisoner, being watched 24 hours a day in Nebraska. All because he decided to get on a boat to go on a vacation. Now he's here on the news, being monitored like a prisoner. But he's happy he's safe. See what I'm saying? It's like, no fucking way. Are they trying to like wreck the cruise industry single-handedly with this story? It's almost like they're trying to tank the cruise industry. Like, it could happen to you. If you get on a cruise ship, this could happen to you. Yeah. If you get on a boat with other people and one of them gets sick, possibly even dies, then that means you can get locked down in a medical facility. And you have to be totally cool with that. Doesn't matter if you have a job or a family to tend to. Nope. It's going to be locked up in Nebraska. That's the part of the story that it's just too over the top and nonsensical.
Ask you about your time on that cruise ship, but I'm wondering, what does quarantine actually involve in your case? Are we looking at you in your room where you've been quarantined?
Yeah, in my room. You can see my stationary bike right back there.
I'm in my room. You can see my stationary bike back there. See, because I'm in my room and I'm safe and I'm happy and I'm quarantining. And see my bike. I have an exercise bike and a bed and a desk. And I'm essentially like a prisoner right now. And they're watching me all day long. And, I can't even beat off in privacy. But that's okay as long as I'm safe.
You have a window. I keep it closed since there are people outside, so I don't need them looking in my room. But yeah, it's much more spacious than the ship. We don't really have much going on during the day. I got some blood work done yesterday. There's a daily temperature check. And for the most part, we just get to kind of, relax and be comfortable in here.
You must be relieved that you are showing no signs.
Yes, I am relieved, and I'm hoping that it stays that way. I feel well. I have no symptoms, and I'm just ready to cope with the next 40 days left.
So the guy hasn't tested positive, doesn't have any symptoms, but they use him as the poster boy for the quarantined passengers. Oh, man. I thought he had the rat shit fever. Bam, bam, bam. Thought he had the rat shit fever. Wow, wow, wow. But he doesn't have the rat shit fever. Wow, wow. Doesn't have the rat shit fever, but I thought that he did. Rat shit fever. All right. So yeah, guys, sadly, he does not have the rat shit fever, at least right now. No symptoms. I was kind of hoping that he did, but unfortunately, he does not. Now, I don't really believe in the rat shit fever personally, but if I did, I was kind of hoping that he would be showing some of the severe symptoms by now. Just kidding. Or am I? All right.
Here in quarantine.
I was going to ask you about that. The incubation period is quite long for this virus.
Yes.
So
Yes,
40 more
correct.
days you'll be in that room?
That is the plan, yes.
How many other
So 40 more days you'll be in that room? Yes, that is the plan. I went on a cruise ship to go on a vacation and enjoy myself. And now I'm here in Nebraska. I had no idea I was going to end up in a quarantine facility. And are you going to be there for the next 40 days? Yep, that's the plan. And so I feel very safe right now. There's this feeling of safety because I have the world's best health physicians watching over me. So I feel really well taken care of right now. And so, I just wanted to go on a vacation, and now here I am locked up like a prisoner in Nebraska, but I feel safe, and that's the only thing that matters. See my exercise bike? I have an exercise bike. I'm thinking about doing some exercising later, so it's really exciting. Oh, okay. Doesn't seem that bad to be stuck there for 40 days.
people are in that same building as you who were affected by this?
I'm honestly not sure. I think there's 15 of us in the quarantine unit and one in the bio containment, but I'm not really sure of anything that goes on outside of this room.
Yeah, not knowing must be very difficult. And I'm wondering.
I really have no idea what's going on outside of this room right now. So right now I'm just trying to pass the time. I have 40 more days here. And so I'm
looking forward to doing a lot of exercising on my bike. I have an exercise bike right back here. And so, it's a pretty spacious room. I have a bed and I have a desk and they can bring us food and stuff like that. And so they check up on me and they monitor me. And so I'm just going to do what I can to pass the time, and I'm just gonna wait it out. I don't have any symptoms, and and there were people who thought that I had tested positive, but I didn't. I'm one of the ones who is not showing any symptoms. So I just wanted to set the record straight for everybody. I'm not a super spreader, okay? I'm one of the ones who doesn't have symptoms. All right? So just letting you guys know what's going on right now. There you go. You know what? I prefer the happy version over the pretend to cry version. So of the two versions of Josh Rossmarin, I prefer the safe, happy quarantine guy over the pretending to cry on the ship guy. All right. Doxological Thinker says, Jake, this guy had an act for the booster too in 2022. I'll try and post the link in comments. I think I heard that he was promoting the jab back in 2020. And so, yeah, if anyone has that clip, pass it along. Somebody said that, but I haven't personally seen the clip. So yeah, if anyone can find that clip, any one of my mods where he's promoting the jab or the booster or whatever, go ahead and pass it along. All right. So he's not just doing this interview, but he's doing multiple interviews. This is like the main poster boy for the hantavirus passengers being quarantined.
Was on outside of this room.
Yeah, not knowing must be very difficult. And I'm wondering about your experience aboard the MV Hondius. What was happening before the virus spread? And when did you actually realize something was truly wrong here?
So it was really a once in a lifetime trip. We got to visit places that most people never get to visit, and most people may not even have heard of. So really, the trip was unbelievable, and it wasn't until that last 24 to 48 hours that everything just went downhill. It was the night before we were supposed to originally disembark that we found there was hantavirus. There was a hantavirus confirmed case, and that's when things became really scary. And it was that week following before we could get off the ship. And
see, like I said, so there has to be a moment where everybody's having a good time and they're like, all right, everybody, stop having a good time. This is serious. Somebody died. They tested positive for the hantavirus. We need everybody to line up. We're going to test everybody. In fact, we need you to go lock down in your cabins for the rest of this cruise. In fact, you might not be let off this ship for an undisclosed amount of time while we figure out what to do with all you possibly contagious people. And this guy's the only example that they're showing us doing these interviews. There's nobody who's like pissed off that they have to do this. There's nobody losing their mind about this.
And repatriated by the United States, that it was a really scary time, specifically for me.
I'm sure it must have been, especially not knowing what was going to happen. I mean, it seemed for a while that no one wanted that ship to the passengers to disembark in their country.
That's correct. And that's actually when I ended up making my video, is when I found out that Cape Verde authorities were not cooperating with at least letting us evacuate those ill patients that we had on board. And that's when things got to become really scary, when it was like, wow, no government is cooperating with helping us.
Why?
All right, I'll show you another interview he's doing. So they got Josh doing the rounds on the news.
One of the Americans quarantined in Omaha this morning. Hi, Jake. Good morning. First of all, How are you feeling, and what is it like where
So it's like they have the guy hanging out at that facility in Nebraska just doing these news interviews all day long?
you are?
I'm feeling good. I got rest last night after a very long travel day the night before. Yesterday was definitely a day for us all to rest here. Just general, intake for us. And yeah, I feel good right now. I'm happy to be in a place where I know we are well cared for. And if anything happens, we have the medical attention that we need.
Jay, take us back to that moment when you found out that you did in fact have the virus, and what was going through your mind.
I think it was a really scary moment for me personally. I think, like anyone, when you hear a virus that you may not know about, you Google it, and probably when you Google this virus, it's some very scary statistics. However, it is a virus that we do know about, and it took me some time over those coming days to test for myself as I was going to be staying in my cabin as much as possible.
There it is, guys. Yes. That's how scary it was that he needed to put on a raincoat, a mask, and a hairnet.
It was definitely a wave of emotions as we retrieved information. And I think it became more scary when we found out that Cape Verde authorities weren't allowing us to dock. So we didn't really, at that point, a lot of things were up in the air. And it wasn't really until we arrived in the Canary Islands and I was able to get off this ship that I felt a bit of relief.
Just by the way, let me just clarify, Jake. I misspoke a second there. You do not have the virus. You're in quarantine, but you do not have the virus, and it sounds like
I do not have the virus. I'm well. I have no symptoms. I feel good, and I'm in good spirits right now.
So this guy doesn't have the virus, doesn't have symptoms, and he's the one doing all the news interviews and all the talking, essentially. And none of the other people have a voice worth hearing about, I guess.
By the way, how are you passing the time there in quarantine? What are you doing, as you said?
I'm feverishly beating off. I mean, what else is there to do? Just kidding. Or am I? I'm not. I totally have just been beating off because, I mean, when you're stuck here by yourself, I mean, what else are you going to do? And of course, I get off having the thought that people are watching me. So yeah, I'm just masturbating while the quarantine officials are disgusted, but they're forced to monitor me. The fact that they're forced to monitor me while I masturbate is just such a turn on.
Yesterday, I kind of was just taking the time to speak to friends and family and let them know that I was okay, as unfortunately some media went out and my face was on it, that people could have assumed that I was someone who tested positive, which was incorrect. But as you may be able to see right behind me, each room is equipped with some exercise equipment. So
he's got his exercise bike, so it's all good. You don't have to worry about whether he's entertained or not. He's got a fucking exercise bike. Look at this gigantic quarantine facility that he's in. Look at this awesome furniture. The guy's living the life of luxury. I'm sure his regular life is nowhere near this exciting, so he's probably happy to be there, right?
I actually have a stationary bike behind me, which I will definitely be getting some use out of while I'm here in quarantine.
And what about, I think I read in the note from the producer that, I mean, you obviously have 3 meals a day, but that you can even order out if you want to. Is that right?
Yes, you can order out. However, it might not be able to be delivered right away, but you can get things delivered, care packages, and that's nice that we have really, access to whatever we need.
All right. Well, we'll send you something from Uber Eats from us. Jake, thank you.
All right, Jake, you have fun in that quarantine facility. We'll send you over a little Uber Eats treat. Good one. All right. Take care. All right. What a story, huh? Yeah, if somebody finds the video of this guy promoting the jab or booster or whatever, hook me up with the link in the comments section, because I haven't seen it, but I heard that he did that. RY says, Jake, please remember that cruise song you made up. Shit, dude, I forgot. You're telling me please remember, but I totally forgot. What cruise song did I make up? Oh, you mean that I made up earlier in the stream tonight? Aruba, Jamaica, ooh, I wanna take you. Bermuda, Bahama, come on, pretty mama, Key Largo, Montego, baby, why don't we go to Kokomo? We'll get there. I just sang Kokomo, right? I can't remember exactly what I did, but it was like, essentially, everyone on the cruise is in party mode, right? Because if a cruise is like essentially like a party on a boat, and you're just relaxing and partying and having fun the whole time, right? At some point, they have to like pull the plug on all the fun and be like, all right, it's a deadly virus breakout. Everybody go to their rooms and put on a mask. I'll have to go back on the replay and see what I said for that song, because I totally forgot what I did. I make all this shit up on the spot. You got to remember, man. So I'm gonna have to go back and watch the replay of what I made up on the spot earlier, because I already forgot. All right. Love World Peace Nearing says, we had to put on lipstick in women's dresses too. Avoid the virus. We had to put on lipstick in women's dresses to avoid the virus. Yeah, you know, if wearing a mask helps keep you safe from the deadly bug, then I'm sure that lipstick in a woman's dress will just increase the safety, right? Makes sense.
I'm glad you're in good spirits. I mean, it's a lot that you've been through, and we're glad you're healthy.
All right. So he did like one more interview that I saw. I'm sure he's done even more than that, but just to show you, they got Josh making the interview rounds here.
Good morning, everyone. It is my second day here at the National Quarantine Unit in Omaha, Nebraska, and I just wanted to give you a little tour of my room. So you walk in here, and then there is closet space, and then here's my little hand sanitation station, bathroom. We have a dresser and a fridge, a smart TV. Here's my thermometer for temperature checks during the day. I have a stationary bike for exercise, a recliner, my bed, and a desk. The room is very spacious and comfortable. I can have stuff sent here for the duration of my stay. So I'm definitely going to be getting.
All right. So be honest, guys. Be honest. If you went on a cruise and then somebody tested positive for a virus and somebody even died, or multiple people died, and then they said, even though you feel good, even though you haven't tested positive, you have to come to Nebraska and hang out inside that room, which looks like a shitty hotel room, right? It looks like just a shitty hotel room. Not the shittiest hotel I've ever seen, but not very luxurious, right? So you have to spend over a month, 40 days. So like a month and a half you have to spend there because you went on a cruise. How many of you guys are going to be like, oh, okay, well, I guess this isn't too bad? Wouldn't you freak the fuck out? Wouldn't you be like, hell no, I'm not doing that. You can't make me do that. I will fight you if you try and make me do that, right? So they aren't showing anyone flipping the fuck out. So it's like they're going out of their way to make it look like, oh, this is great. These conditions are fine. And I have no problems being here for 40 days, right? So it's like not one of these people is like, fuck this. You can't keep me here. Legally, I'm going to fight this. You guys, you're breaking my constitutional rights, right? Nobody's going to fight this. So they're showing us this example of a guy who's totally cool with this and seems to be even happy about it, right? Like it doesn't bother him at all. He doesn't have anything else going on in his life. He can just spend 40 days here. And I guess his job or what else he has going on in his life can just wait until he gets out.
Some things for me to feel more at home and more comfortable. But yeah, I'm hoping to give more updates while I'm here. I'm feeling well. I want to address some information that went around yesterday, that there was an article with my image saying that I was the American that tested positive. It was a little misleading. In the caption, it said that there was someone who tested positive and then also addressed that I'm at the quarantine unit. I am not the person who tested positive. I am feeling well. I'm in relatively good spirits.
And he keeps repeating that he's not the one who tested positive. So I am here. This is the facility. This is my exercise bike. But no, I'm not the one who tested positive. Okay? So I just want to clear up all the confusion. I'm not the one who tested positive. Okay? Okay, Josh. All right. Doxological Thinker says, I have the link. I will post it again when you read this so you can show it. Okay. Post it, buddy. Post the link now. While I'm looking at the chat. And since I just talked about him, now would be the time. Hook a brother up with the link. RY says, I can't believe people are actually buying it this time. The international fake station is more believable than this bullshit. So I'm already seeing a groundswell of controlled backlash. So they already have these memes being posted on social media that say, I shall not comply. I will not wear a mask. I will not take a vaccine. I will not stay home from work. I will not comply. So there's people already like protesting this online by resharing these same memes over and over. So you might have seen people already saying, I will not wear a mask. I will not be staying home. They're not tricking me this time. So it's like there's a controlled opposition to this already being mounted online. And so I have a theory that nobody's talking about right now, how they may try and make everybody who's thinking that we're going into another pandemic and everyone panicking about that or talking about it, how they might make all those people look foolish by doing something completely different. So I'll get into that in just a minute once I get through these super chats. And oh yeah, was I supposed to get a link for that video? Can someone please post that link for the video of the guy, Josh, supposedly promoting the jib jab? I'm looking in the chat and I don't see it. It might have been posted earlier. So somebody post the damn link again. One of my mods, if you can. Got a generous super chat coming in from Newt Tartarians. Says, hello, Sir Jake. This renovation I'm doing had me plow through so many mouse turds. I figured I should volunteer to spit in a cup, and the scientists could probably develop an antigen. Oh, wait, it's just a story to scare us. Yeah, man, if you go where there's places where there might be rat poo-poo, it might mix with dust, and then the dust can get in the air, and then you have dust with rat poo-poo particles, and then you breathe in the dusty rat poo-poo particles. Boom, hantavirus, right? That's how it works. Guys, use your brains. Don't go where there's copious amounts of rat feces. And please, for the love of God, if you are going to be around rat and mouse droppings, don't eat the poo-poo. You guys, I can't say it any simpler. Stop eating rat poo-poo. We wouldn't be in this circumstance right now if people had just stopped eating rat poo-poo. Okay? Guys, it's not good for you. In fact, it can cause a deadly virus to spread. So please, if you're out there, if you're listening to my voice right now, stop eating rat poo-poo. That's what Ben Shapiro would say. New Tartarians, thank you for the very generous super chat, sir. Tristan Spindler says, barbecuing some steaks after work. Yeah, boy. Hey, man, you don't got to worry about no rat shit fever. As long as you got some good meat on the grill, you're doing good in life, right? You're eating well. If you can afford beef and a good cut right now, and you got the time to throw it on the grill and the space to grill and enjoy yourself, then you're doing good in life. So enjoy your steaks, my brother. LaFleur Network said some Arnold over excessively washing your hands.
Right now, there would not be this outbreak that was occurring if everybody was to wash their hands. Right now, everybody is stopping washing their hands. People does not think that this is very important, that you need to wash your hands. You not only need to use soap, but you need to wash your hands in very hot water. You need to do it for the minimum of 31,000. You need to count. You need to count to a full 31,000 using the soap and the hot water. You need to get down. You need to get the chemical concoction right now. I tried to get the chopper so that I could get there as quick as possible so that I could take the chemical concoction, but I was not able to get there quick enough. So therefore, I'm going to have to quarantine. I'm going to spend 40 days and 40 nights in the Nebraska quarantine facility. And then when I find out that I have no symptoms, that is when I will come back out of the quarantine and I will let everybody know you need to get pumped up. Screw your freedom. When it comes to a global epidemic such as antivirus, to do this, you need to not have your freedom and tie in the school. There
you go. Especially that last part. All right. RY says, can you do hantavirus Dust in the Wind song? Dust in the wind, hantavirus, dust in the wind, hantavirus, dust in the wind. All we do is breathe some rat feces in the dust and wind. It slips on through, our respiratory system gets infected by rat shit in the wind. I breathed in some rat shit in the wind. All right, I don't know. I wasn't sure how to turn that into a song, but that's the best I can do. There you go. Rat shit, dust in the wind, hantavirus parody. Dcran4D said, my childhood has me smelling mice, rat shit until I was in my 20s. I'm still here, and this new shit they are, is this a new shit they are crapping? So apparently this has always been a thing that you should be afraid of rat shit because it can get in the air and in dust particles, and then you can breathe it in. So the story that they're telling us with the cruise ship is that some of the passengers got off the cruise ship in Argentina when it stopped, and they went bird watching near a landfill, and the landfill had rat shit and dust, and the rat shit got in the dust up in the air, and the passengers who were bird watching breathed in some of the rat shit dust and then got back on the boat and then started showing symptoms and dying. That's the story that we're being told. Bird watching in Argentina, accidental ingestion of rat shit dust is apparently the whole cause of this whole story, according to them. I'm Rigged says, what's worse, stuck in a space station or on quarantine? Yeah, pretty much the same thing, right? Whether you're floating around in a tin can, sucking space food out of a pouch, or whether you're stuck in Nebraska while they watch over you 24 hours a day while you beat off and use an exercise bike. Pretty much the same thing. You're going to be sitting there wasting a lot of time, not getting anything accomplished. I guess at least in space you get to float while you're up there, so you can do some cool backflips and front flips and stuff. So it's probably a little more exciting to be stuck in the space station. RL says, hey, Jake, I tried to mention the J on a post and they won't let me send unless it's for $200 or more. What the fuck? Well, that's new to me. I haven't heard that. So if they won't let you say a certain word or they're not letting you post your message, try misspelling any keyword that you think might be keeping your message from going through. So sometimes purposely misspelling a keyword or two is the only way to get your message to go through. But I've never heard of anyone having to send a certain amount in order to say something. But, it is their platform, and so they can, sometimes censor people using all sorts of different methods, whether it's AI doing it or what, I couldn't tell you. Tom Jones says, do Roseanne telling Dan to scoop the mouse turds.
Dan, get in here! There's mouse turds on the floor and I don't want to catch hantavirus! After being on that ship, it was scary as hell, like had to lock down and quarantine for 40 days. And then as soon as I get home, Dan let the place go to shit, it's all messy. And then the first thing I see when I walk in the door is fucking rat turds. Darling, DJ, we're going to a hotel. Get down here.
Oh, there you go. Now, the sound of Roseanne's voice, some people find it highly amusing. Other people find it to be like the sound of nails on a chalkboard. So some people love it and some people hate it. There you go. All right. So what else did I want to show you guys? Oh, yeah. I did some digging and I found a old video talking about hantavirus, and it was like super old from like 13 years ago, but it's being shoved in the algorithm currently. So people are watching this old video that talks about hantavirus. So check it out. How to survive hantavirus, UC San Francisco, 13 years ago. This came out 2012, but it's being pumped in the algorithm currently.
There has been more concern or more public concern about hantavirus, given that we've had some cases of infection from patients who have been traveling recently in Yosemite Valley. In particular, these cases were thought to come from exposure to deer mice while they were staying at Curry Village which is at the floor at the base of the Yosemite Valley. Hantavirus overall is a very, very rare infection spread by exposure to the urine or droppings of deer mice. And deer mice are wild mice that typically exist in rural areas or at higher elevations. In California, they're commonly found in the eastern Sierras. And whereas the hantavirus may infect the deer mice do not get sick from the hantavirus. Humans that initially get infected from hantavirus, the incubation period for the disease is about 1 to 5 weeks. Typically,
there's something about his demeanor and his attitude, like. So typically, this is how it works with hantavirus, and I'm very nonchalant. I'm like this cool, hip Asian doctor who likes to get stoned on my vape pen, and yeah, let me just tell you all about hantavirus. So this is weird that like this video from 13 years ago is being pumped currently. And I'll show you in the comments, like all the comments coming in are new comments on a 13-year-old video that the algorithm's now pumping to everyone.
They begin with very vague flu-like symptoms. This includes fever, fatigue, muscle aches and pains, and sometimes abdominal pain. Then the disease can progress, meaning that they'll then develop cough and shortness of breath, and eventually, with hantavirus infection, it develops into a life-threatening pneumonia. The disease is very severe, and about 38% of patients who get the disease will eventually die from the illness. The disease is very severe, and about 38% of patients who get the disease will eventually die from the illness. Humans are not reservoir for hantavirus infection. They can get infected by exposure to deer mice, but they're unable to pass. They do not pass the disease from human to human. There have been no documented cases of human-to-human transmission from hantavirus infection.
So check it out. The one on the ship is the Andes version of hantavirus, which is the one version of the virus which is passable between humans. So the person who got off the cruise ship got infected in Argentina by the one virus that does pass human to human. Yep. All right, so let me show you guys like how this is being pumped by the algorithm right now. I'll just show you the newest comments, because all the comments on this 13-year-old video are all new. See? So a bunch of new comments coming in. And then the top comments, bro had a vision. No way this appeared on my main page after the cruise ship incident. So we are all here after hearing the news about the cruise ship. Come here right after hearing the news about the man dying because of this virus. I'm having whiplash from all the different eras of the comments are from. Right? So check this out, y'all. I was like, that's weird that this was out back in 2012 and now they're reusing this video. So I went and I clicked on this channel to see what this channel posts usually. And the most recent videos posted have like hardly any views at all. Like, look, 16 views, 43 views, 80 views, like basically nothing. But that old video that they're showing about hantavirus had like almost 800,000. So I went to the most popular and I found this video that doesn't have anything to do with hantavirus. But when I clicked on it, I was like, holy shit, this is crazy.
Anne and Bill to have a conversation through our brain decoding to facilitate what we think would resemble a future use of an actual real-life application of the technology.
We want to try to basically create a demonstration where we're decoding the text, the speech, and the avatar at the same time from Anne's brain as she tries to silently attempt to speak. We just trained some new models yesterday, so we might need to test it a little bit.
Okay.
Because like,
This is when I was like, what in the fuck, dude? What am I looking at? Like, what? Look at this. This is like some Matrix shit. Look, a plug in someone's head. Gonna plug something into some lady's head. How did I find that? It was because I watched the old hantavirus video, and then when I looked around on this channel, I found this video, how a brain implant in AI gave a woman with paralysis her voice back. And this is the most popular video on the channel with 8 million views. And it was like pretty crazy. Let me just show you a few minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll run through some practice runs.
The device is an electrocorticography grid, which is attached to a pedestal, which is screwed onto the participant's skull. And it's the very first person to have this combination.
I think you are wonderful.
Okay, so they got the brain damaged individual with the plug in their head, and the AI is helping this individual talk. Okay, getting some Stephen Hawking vibes here. Getting some Helen Keller vibes. Helen Keller, Stephen Hawking type shit going on here.
In the Chang Lab, we really focus on restoring voice to people that have lost it due to conditions like stroke or ALS.
What we're picking up on are neural activity related directly to the attempts to move her facial muscles, and that's what we're able to decode into speech.
Hey, Ann, how's it going?
It is good to see you.
Giving them the ability to communicate again with their loved ones and caregivers is really what we're...
So you have essentially a brain dead person wear a prop and stare at a screen, and then you make it as if the screen is in AI or speaking on behalf of the person. Nice try, but no, definitely not falling for that.
Looking to do.
I was thinking about running to the store.
What time will you be home?
In about an hour.
Do not make me laugh.
So yeah, definitely some Stephen Hawking, Helen Keller shit going on here. And the only reason I found this is because this channel had the 13-year-old hantavirus video. And then when I looked around, I found this other video on the channel. So I thought I'd show at least a few minutes of that to you guys because I thought it was pretty crazy. All right, so let me get back on track with the main story here. The hantavirus story, and I'll tell you guys what I think they could do, because a lot of people are predicting that this is going to be Plandemic 2.0, or here we go again with another COVID-like pandemic or whatever, but I think they might do something else. So let me pull up a clip to show you guys what I'm talking about. Like, so they could run this story, get everyone to freak out that perhaps this is going to be the next pandemic. And then they can run their quarantine story that they're running right now, that they have these people in a facility and they're watching over them. So what they could do is get a bunch of people online to freak out about this. And then they have the controlled opposition saying, I will not comply. I'm not going to wear a mask. I'm not going to lock down. And they could have this story run for a month and a half. And they could essentially just have this be a successful example of a quarantine working. So let me explain further. They don't really have an example on hand that they can show us of a quarantine working completely successfully and containing a deadly outbreak. So what they could do is run this story for the next month and a half, 2 months, and then say, we successfully quarantined these individuals. None of them are showing any symptoms. None of them are testing positive. They all survived. So we have safely and effectively thwarted this possible outbreak of this deadly virus. So this is a documented example, possibly, of quarantine working. Follow? So if they want to get us used to the idea and not resist the idea of quarantines, they could have a successful quarantine, which contains the deadly outbreak. And if they do contain this supposed deadly outbreak successfully, then they can say, all of you conspiracy theorists who said that this was going to be another pandemic, you were wrong. All of you people who panicked, as you can see, the World Health Organization acted accordingly, and they did a great job at containing this contagion. So this is an example of quarantine working effectively, and this is proof that quarantine is the correct procedure for containing a deadly outbreak. See, they could use this as an example. Let's say if they decide to run this for a month and a half and then say all the passengers are good to go, they could say that quarantining in certain circumstances is the best method at containing a deadly outbreak. So they could normalize the word quarantine, say it over and over again, and then show you these people in Nebraska, and then tell you that everything worked out A-okay. It was a successful one. So they can normalize the word, get people to be like, oh, well, I guess quarantines aren't so bad. Because right now the word quarantine gets people to go through post-traumatic stress disorder. Like, I'm not locking down again. I'm not fucking locking down again. I'm not wearing a mask. I'm not going to fucking take a vax. And then they can be like, relax, you crazy conspiracy theorists. The quarantine worked perfect. Josh and all the passengers, they stayed there, and now they're showing no more symptoms, and everything's worked out fine. So all of you crazy cuckoo conspiracy theorists who thought we were going to go into pandemic number 2. Yeah, the World Health Organization took care of it just perfectly and effectively. See, so they could totally chalk this one up for the World Health Organization as doing the right thing and effectively containing a deadly virus. So let's not automatically assume that we're going into the next pandemic. They could totally just be setting up a situation where they successfully contained it, and then they can brag about it and then gaslight the fuck out of all of us. All of you conspiracy theorists online saying that you weren't going to wear a mask and you weren't going to get a vaccine. Yeah, all that was completely unnecessary. See? So they could totally make it out like all of that was nothing but paranoia from crazy conspiracy theorists. So I see all the online backlash against this, and all of that online backlash could be made to look silly and foolish if this works perfectly. See how that goes? You guys following? So we have to consider that their script might end with everybody living and walking away from this with no symptoms and them successfully containing the deadly outbreak. Therefore, you have a documented example of quarantines working perfectly. You got to have a documented example of quarantine working perfect in order to get people to willingly quarantine in the future, right? So let's not write this thing off as a pandemic number 2 right away, because that seems like maybe that's what they want us to do. All right. So now that I've said that, let me catch up on the super chats. All right. RY wants me to do Russian vids talking about hantavirus.
So a lot of people miss is that this was a 33-day cruise. And that's how you know it's Masonic. That means everyone on board is a Mason. So right now you have this Josh Rossmarin. It's completely ridiculous. On board this ship, nothing but Masonic numbers coming up. So you have to assume everyone on board, including Josh, is a Mason. That's why they use these number 33s. They're trying to keep people from waking up to the truth of God's biblical flat earth. So right now, they're distracting people from waking up to God's created flat earth. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right. Decran 4D gifting 5 Jake the Awake memberships. Awesome. Thank you, Decran. Thank you to everybody gifting out the memberships. That reminds me, I need to make some new members only content. Therefore, you members have something special to watch. RL says, I'm rubbing my Stephen Hawking's and Helen lost eyesight in one eye. I'm rubbing my Stephen Hawking's and Helen lost eyesight in one eye. Okay. Have fun with that. It's all melted buildings says, why do you think those people enjoy lying like that? What's driving them to deceive? Money, right? And possibly some of these people are useful idiots. You know, they're paid to go along with this narrative, and then they're probably told that it's for national security that they do this and that they perform this story, right? So they could lie to these people however they want to get them to go on camera and do it. And then you just have to consider, you know, that people will just do and say anything for the almighty dollar, right? So perhaps that dude is a useful idiot. Perhaps he knows more than he's letting on. Either way, there's always going to be somebody willing to go on camera and lie to your face, right? There's no shortage of people willing to go on camera with their shit-eating grins, their duper's delight, as they read whatever the script in front of them says, right? So it might just be like, here, you want this money? Read this script. Otherwise, we'll find someone else to do it, you know? Brian J says, have you discussed what Hanta means in Hebrew? So other people have already posted that over and over again. Let me see if I just Google it. All right. So if we just Google it, we get Hanta means a scam, a fraud, nonsense, a lie, or something fake. A scam, fraud, nonsense, lie, or something fake. Yeah, out of all the things to name the virus after, just happens to have that Hebrew meaning. There you go. But see, even if it didn't have that Hebrew meaning connection, you should still be able to see through the bullshit, right? Even without the 33, even without the number connections and the Hebrew connections, even if they didn't involve that stuff, I still would not believe this story. The story is full of holes, even if you take away their coding and their Hebrew shit, right? So when you throw in the numbers that they're coding it with and the Hebrew shit, it just makes it super obvious that they're doing something with this story. So they've put enough time and effort into this story. They're going to do something with it. But I have my suspicions that it won't be Plandemic number 2. I can't say that for sure, but I have my suspicions we're going to see a successful quarantine. Now, this is just speculation. I have no idea for sure what they're going to do with this story. I'm just following it as we go along and speculating as to what they may or may not do.
New Tartarians says, Sir Jake, I have to send a layup super chat for your voice of reason. How can they spoil our previously correct position during the COVID years? So yeah, right now, they can cause people to think about what they went through back in 2020, 2021, and they can give you essentially post-traumatic stress disorder. And it was starting to happen to me. I'm like, they better not have people at the supermarket fuck with me, right? I started to get angry when this story started breaking. Like, they can say what they want on TV, but if I go to the store and anyone touches me because I'm not wearing a mask, then I'm going to mace people in their face, right? They want people to freak out and remember what you went through and then cause you aggravation, post-traumatic stress disorder, thinking about all the bullshit that we had to endure the last time around. So they could essentially just get us in our own minds to start having those thoughts that like, oh shit, they're doing it again. They better not try and lock me down. You know what I mean? So if they get you thinking about it and worrying about it, that might be part of their plan. And then in a month and a half, 2 months, they can be like, oh, it's over. The quarantine worked. See, all of you crazy conspiracy theorists who were all paranoid, we told you there's nothing to worry about. The World Health Organization acted accordingly, and they have successfully contained the deadly contagion. So we can thank the World Health Organization for doing such a great job. See, they could totally rub it in our face. And all they would need to do is just script a successful quarantine. And then they have their example on hand of a successful quarantine to refer to. Oh, we have this new breakout happening. So if we refer back to how we successfully contained the hantavirus, let's go ahead and do that again this time, right? So in the future, they can repeat the steps that they did this time around. See what I'm saying? There's a lot they could do with a successful quarantine script without having it turn into the next pandemic. See what I'm saying? Thank you, New Tartarians. I appreciate the layup super chat, sir. I appreciate all the super chats in every form. All right. What do you guys think? Well, what are your guys' thoughts on this? Transmissible data says, this is all fucking with my head. Hey, I got to admit, this damn story, when I first saw it, it had the markings of possibly being the next plandemic, and it may still be that. And so I started going over in my head what could possibly happen. And I immediately fast forwarded to store employees telling me I can't come in the grocery store. And it automatically started to make me agitated. And I had to tell myself, stop. That hasn't happened yet. They haven't shut down the sports leagues yet. The plexiglass at the grocery store hasn't showed up yet. All right. People haven't freaked out and started acting like they did last time yet. So until they start doing that, I should probably not freak out either. Right. So yeah, man, it started to mess with me a little bit because I start thinking ahead to what they could possibly be doing. And then, yeah, my imagination can start to run wild. So that's why over the last day or two, I had to think about it from another perspective. Like, hey, maybe they won't do that. Maybe they're going to do something else with this. So yeah, man, just thinking about this, it started to take over all my thoughts, right? It started to dominate real estate in my brain, which is what they want. So yeah, man, maybe that's their goal, is to get it to mess with all of us, get it to take up real estate in our heads, right? So that's what got me thinking, hey, maybe this story isn't what they're trying to make it out to be. And they could totally go the opposite direction with it. And if that's the case, then let's definitely not let it bother us or mess with our heads. signs of places. I think they're feeling us all out. So yeah, you have to consider that they're studying our reaction to this. Now, what had me thinking that this is different than last time, they already had their controlled resistance set up to this. So I already see like online people sharing the same memes and the same messages over and over. I will not comply. I will not wear a mask. I will not take a vaccine. I'm not going to do this again, right? So what they could do with a successful quarantine script is make it look like all of those people pushing that message online were just paranoid, and that they were just pushing misinformation, that you shouldn't trust those crazy people pushing paranoia online, and you should trust the mainstream sources. See, so they could totally make it out like, yeah, all of the people online who said that this was going to be another pandemic, they were all wrong, right? And the World Health Organization successfully took care of this issue with their quarantine. So if they ran a few of these stories where they successfully quarantine, then they could say, look at these examples of us successfully containing these viruses. So you should definitely listen to us, the people who know what we're doing, rather than these crazy online conspiracy theorists pushing all that paranoia, right? So beings, I see a lot of controlled opposition being mounted to this topic. Makes me think that might be what they're going to do. Davey D says the sheep would love that. Newt Tartarians says, Jake, I think you're totally right. By September, they'll be putting their fingers in our faces going, see? So, to my knowledge, I'm the only one who's brought up the possibility that they're going to do the successful quarantine script. So, it's easy to assume that this might be the next pandemic, but it's almost like they're purposely getting people to make that jump or assumption. So that's why I thought, okay, what's another direction that they could go? And that's when I came up with this possibility for a successful quarantine script. And the more I thought about it, the more it started to make sense. It's all melted buildings, says they know we remember COVID and plant these stories to make us remember. Last real pandemic was Spanish flu, so it seems they are doing this every 100 years. We will be fine for our lifetime. So you have to figure at some point they're going to try another pandemic like they did before, but perhaps they throw in a few successful quarantine containments right before they do the next one. That way it's not like too obvious. So they could trick people into thinking that the WHO has a good method at containing these outbreaks and that they know what they're doing. So they could trick people into thinking that in certain circumstances, quarantine is the best option. And the only way they would do that is by having scripted, successful quarantines to refer to. Oh, remember when they locked down for a month and a half and then everybody tested negative and nobody had symptoms anymore, and then everyone survived and they contained the deadly hantavirus? Remember when they successfully contained the deadly outbreak? They're going to have an example of that if they want to get people on board with quarantines and lockdowns being a good thing, right? Or necessary. Like quarantines and lockdowns are necessary in certain circumstances. So in order for them to get you to buy into the circumstances. Quarantine is the best option. They have to have these examples of a successful quarantine, right? So that's where I went with my thoughts on this. I got a super chat from Transmissible Data with no message attached, just a super chat. Thank you very much, Transmissible Data. I appreciate all the super chats, whether it's a statement, a thank you, a impression request, or a blank super chat. I appreciate all the support, you guys, and the support has been great tonight. Thank you guys for showing up tonight and supporting the channel on another Wednesday. All right. Let me see if I got any more video clips to show you guys. All right. So it's not just the United States. There's other countries talking about it as well. Like,
who was evacuated from the ship.
Apparently France, according to this video, puts strong protocol in place. So this is one of those things that they're not just pushing here in the United States, but they're pushing it worldwide.
All of the passengers on that Dutch cruise ship hit by an outbreak of hantavirus have now been evacuated from the Spanish island of Tenerife. The World Health Organization says 3 passengers have died and there are at least 11 confirmed cases of the virus among those who are being quarantined. And that includes a Spanish national who was evacuated from the ship who tested positive earlier this morning. And a French woman who's contracted the virus remains in a critical condition in a Paris hospital. Let's cross now to France.
All right. I like this shot that they just showed. Like, check it out. Guy in full hazmat gear. Dude with no mask, no goggles, no hazmat gear, but just like a street worker's, uniform, right? Like a street maintenance uniform. Then this guy over here, he's not wearing the hat or a mask. So this lady not wearing a mask or a hazmat suit.
The virus remains in a
This guy right here, just a yellow vest, right? No hazmat suit. But then this guy, full hazmat suit. This guy over here, just standing around, no suit. So it's like some people wearing suits, some people not wearing suits. So this stock footage they're showing us, it's like, what are they even showing us? Like, is this even related to the virus, or did they just need to show us a picture of someone in a hazmat suit?
Critical condition in a Paris hospital. Let's cross now to France 24's James Andre, who's at the health ministry. James, we're expecting to hear from the French health minister in the next hour, but what have French officials been saying in the meantime?
Yes, well, indeed, we are expecting to hear from Stéphanie Arist, who will be holding a press conference here at the ministry. What we've been hearing is basically the French authorities very much on top of.
And then this other shot right here, like, hey guys, come over here. I spotted some rat poop. Come on, guys, come over here and help me spray the rat poop, right? Oh yeah, here's some. I think I see some rat poop right here. Let's definitely spray this rat poop. Definitely where this boat was docking. I think I see a little rat poop right here. Psh, psh. Hey, Pierre, I think I spotted some possible rat feces. We're going to need you to come over here and spray, right?
Among those who are being quarantined.
Yeah,
and that
right over here, guys. Right over here. Come over here and spray this rat poop so that we don't have to worry about this disease breaking out, virus.
Includes a Spanish national who was evacuated.
See what I mean? Like that's what they were doing. That's what those guys were doing. See? They're getting rid of the deadly virus. This is video of them cleaning up the virus. And the virus must have been hanging around this dock right here. Or over here where he's pointing. See? So yeah, you know, some people wearing some hazmat suits, some people not. All right. Brandon Stone says, I think they do a drill knocking out the power grid at some point. Yeah, but people have been saying that for like the last 15 years, right? People have been talking about the power grid going out. You got to remember that they run all these psychological operations through your TV screen, computer screen, and your phone screen, right? Simultaneously, they've always got these scripted news stories running. So they got to keep you plugged in to the matrix by keeping the power turned on. So if the power turns off, then you're not going to be able to get your fix of the nightly news. You're not going to be able to get programmed by the script. So in order for you to get your programming by the nightly news through your TV, your phone, or your computer, they're going to need to have the power turned on. So that's one of the reasons why I don't think they're going to shut the power off, is because having the power on is how they keep people following along with all these stories that they come up with, right? And if the power was to be shut off, well, you run that risk of people snapping out of it and realizing that none of this is real and it doesn't matter, right? You don't want people to snap out of the spell that they create with this news that they're always pumping, right? All these news stories that they're constantly scripting and coming up with to keep people distracted. Well, they got to have the power running in order to do that. So I'm one of the people that says they probably won't knock out the power. And if they do knock out the power, it'll be in just maybe a certain area for a short amount of time, not worldwide. They're never going to worldwide just knock out all the power. Probably not in our lifetimes. So one thing they were starting to talk about was that some of these passengers may have come into contact with other people aboard airplanes and whatnot. So now they're starting to run stories that maybe, possibly, other people have been infected. And then in this report right here, they're using the same number, 3. They're saying 3 King County, Washington residents exposed to hantavirus. So this is how they get people afraid that this is going to spread.
So those 2 King County residents who were on the plane with that other passenger have returned home and don't have any symptoms. Public health staff are working with them to monitor their symptoms at home here in King County. A 3rd resident was on that cruise ship as a passenger, the one that had the outbreak. Now that resident doesn't have any symptoms either, but they're being monitored in Nebraska at the National Quarantine Center along with other American passengers. So we can understand why local leaders with county health are acknowledging the concern the community may have from the hantavirus.
This is a deadly virus, so I can certainly understand why it may be a fear-inducing situation. And I know for many of us, it may bring back memories from the COVID-19 pandemic.
See, so they're purposely trying to bring back memories. By talking about how it may bring back memories, they're purposely trying to bring back those memories. All right, so Icon says Trump is taking a 3rd term, lockdown martial law incoming. I disagree. I think Trump is on his way out, and they're getting the public to all turn on Trump. Even a lot of the MAGAs are sick of Trump at this point. So I think they're going to usher in the next liberal president. And remember, the presidents are selected, not elected, but they can make it look like the popular opinion is that Americans are sick of Trump and ready for change. And so they can make it look like Americans are organically choosing the liberal candidate in the next election, especially after everything that they went through with Trump. So they can make it look like public sentiment is that they're absolutely sick of Trump. And a lot of people are sick of Trump. So then they can easily usher in their next liberal president because they swing the presidential pendulum back and forth from left to right, back to left, back to right again, over and over and over again. So if you look at what they've been doing with the presidents, they spend either 4 or 8 years in office, each president, and then they switch to the other candidate on the other side, right? So we go from a Bush to an Obama, and then back to a Bush again, or no, Bush to a Clinton, back to a Bush again, then to Obama, and then to a Trump, and then to a Biden, and then back to a Trump. So they're constantly switching from left to right, back to left, back to right again. They swing the presidential pendulum back and forth. That's what they do. So we have to consider that they're going to keep doing what they've been doing. All these years you've been alive, all these years I've been alive, that's what they've been doing. They've never had anyone go into a third term and do a martial law or anything like that. So why assume that that's what they're going to do with Trump? It seems like they're trying to get you to make that assumption. It seems like they want us to take the bait that Trump's going to try and get a third term and remain in office forever. I think that's all to get people to hate Trump as much as possible so that they beg for the next liberal president. And at the same time, they can keep all of the true magatards who still support Trump, they can keep them thinking that possibly Trump's going to stay in office. So the people who still are supporting Trump, you give them hope that he's going to stick around. And at the same time, you piss off all the rest of the people who are sick of Trump so that they naturally want to vote for the liberal candidate. So I'm going to guess that it's almost guaranteed the next candidate who wins the presidency will be a liberal candidate. I would be shocked if they had a Republican take office again. So yeah, my prediction is there will be no martial law, and they're going to bring in the next lefty president. Who is the lefty president going to be? I can't say for sure. Perhaps Bernie Sanders or maybe Gavin Newsom. I don't know for sure. But my guess is it's almost a guarantee the next president is going to be a liberal. Suzette Ann says, Jake, Bad Bunny dressed as an old white man at the recent Met Gala. Please show a picture of him at the Met Gala in this stream. Okay. Yeah, dude. Oh, my bad. Let me get rid of this. Let me pull that up right now. And I'll give you guys the rundown on Bad Bunny.
¿Cómo está, Benito? Dime, ¿qué pasa?
We good. We good.
We good. Okay, yeah. Benito, tell me, how do you...
Guys, so here's an example of Bad Bunny wearing a hyper-realistic mask and whatnot and dressing up like an old man. That's because Bad Bunny is Justin Bieber. So now that they can further confuse everybody by having Bad Bunny supposedly dress up as this guy, whoever this is, right? So I'm just now learning about this. I haven't even seen this story yet.
No me he podido ver todavía bien. Todavía no he analizado porque no he tenido tiempo de verme al espejo. Pero mientras iban haciendo mis manos, yo las veía y eso como que me impactaba un poco. El mes que viene, como yo disfruto de estar.
Oh yeah, I've done a whole stream on this. This is Justin Bieber playing the role of Bad Bunny.
Yo disfruto de estar en Nueva York. Aliviado, diría yo, como que más liviano de todo, orgulloso. Contando historias a veces tras.
All right, so they have Bieber as Bad Bunny going through the transformation to look like an old man. Right? Okay. So they're showing you the process that you can put on an entirely different face.
Glued on, and we start painting. It's a moving art. I think once all the pieces are glued on and we start painting the face and we start adding reds and adding little blood vessels.
When you have this many people helping you transform your face, you can do a lot of amazing things. So whenever I bring up hyper-realistic masks, people forget that this sort of stuff, as far as movies are concerned, they've been transforming people's face with makeup and prosthetics and latex masks and all this stuff. They've been doing this stuff for a long time. So they've only gotten better and better and better at doing this stuff over the years. All right, let's check it out. So now that I just told you that that's Justin Bieber, I'm sure there's going to be somebody in the chat who's going to be like, that's stupid. It's not Justin Bieber. Let me go ahead and knock this out real quick. I talked about this back after the Super Bowl when Bad Bunny did his Super Bowl performance. Check this out. You're only going to hear this here. You'll never hear this anywhere else. All right, so here you got Bad Bunny. If you look at his face, he doesn't look like a regular man. It looks like his facial hair is fake. His facial hair looks like it's not real. His whole face just looks fake. Here he is in a dress. So that means he's part of the club where you embarrass yourself and humiliate yourself on purpose. So anyone who wears a pink dress like this and takes a photo like this is going to be humiliating themselves on purpose. Here he is in a dress again, humiliating himself on purpose. Here he is doing the one eye symbolism. Here's Justin Bieber doing the one eye symbolism. Here's a picture of modern day Justin Bieber. Except, hey, wait a minute. That doesn't look quite like Justin Bieber. That Justin Bieber looks different. I thought Justin Bieber looked like this. So does Justin Bieber look like this? Or does he look like this? These are not the same individual. Do we see? This and this are two different people. So we have Justin Bieber, and then we have a Justin Bieber lookalike who doesn't even look that much like Justin Bieber. Do we follow? Is everyone following along? Clearly, they've got multiple guys playing this Justin Bieber role, but this is the one that I recognize to be the real Justin Bieber, the one that kind of looks like a chick, right? Now we got this. Anybody who wants to disagree with me that Justin Bieber and Bad Bunny are not the same person, and I know people want to disagree with me, now you have to take the position that they got together and took this gay photo. So I say Justin Bieber and Bad Bunny are the same person, and that's why they're taking this photo to create an alibi that they're not the same person. There's no reason to take a photo like that. If you're Justin Bieber, there's no reason to take a photo like that with some Bad Bunny guy. Do you guys know how fucking famous Justin Bieber is? Justin Bieber is super famous, and he's been super famous for a long time. He's way more famous than Bad Bunny. But by taking this photo, he makes it seem like Bad Bunny is really good friends with Justin. Like, man, they're such good friends, they're practically gay for each other. So they get you to believe that Justin loves Bad Bunny. So much so that he gets together and hangs out with the guy, makes music with the guy, and takes gay picture in leather with the guy. So if you don't agree with me that those are the same guy, you have to take the stance that they just happen to hang out and do this shit. That Justin happens to use his fame to prop up this fucking Bad Bunny character, who he has no reason to do that for. Justin has no reason to help out Bad Bunny unless he is Bad Bunny. Then he has every reason to do this. It makes perfect sense that Justin is Bad Bunny, and now he's making Bad Bunny famous by doing this. So what I'm saying completely goes along with this picture. They're the same fucking person. In fact, if you look really close, Bad Bunny's looking through Justin Bieber. He's looking through Justin Bieber. Why would they need to do this? Why would they need to take this picture? Well, it's because they're the same person and they're creating an alibi that they're not the same person. There's no reason Justin, as famous as he is, needs to get together with this fucking talentless hack and take this picture, unless Justin is that guy and wants him to be equally as famous, so that now he can be Justin Bieber, he can be The Weeknd, or he can be Bad Bunny. Seems like Justin Bieber now can play multiple different roles and entertain multiple different crowds in multiple different situations, singing different types of music. So he's not stuck just being one pop star. Now he can be two pop stars. Again, if you disagree with me and you think I'm wrong, you have to take the stance that these guys are gay for each other and hang out and take these photos just because they're gay. That doesn't make sense that Justin Bieber just happens to love Bad Bunny so much that they get together and take these sort of pictures with each other. Not buying it. And again, look, Bad Bunny's looking through Justin. That's because they're the same person taking a fake photo together. Yeah, this is Justin pretending that he's looking at Justin. And this is Justin pretending that he's hanging out with Bad Bunny. It's a fake photo. I'm not fucking stupid. If you want to be stupid and fall for this, that means you have to think that these guys are gay and hang out with each other like this. I'm not that stupid. Look, they even look just like each other in this shot. Same hair, same face, essentially. And they have on like the same style of clothing. And they make a song together. So not only do they hang out in leather, they both happen to look like each other in this photo, be wearing something similar, and they're making music together. So a guy like Justin, who's super duper famous, way more famous than Bad Bunny, and has been more famous than Bad Bunny for a long, long time. He just happens to like bestow his fame upon this guy, put his arm around him and include him in his music and take gay pictures because he loves him so much, because he loves his music, because he thinks he's such a sexy Spaniard. Not buying it. It's the same fucking person. And I don't care who doesn't believe it. I already know there's going to be people who are like, Jake, man, that's crazy. They're not the same person. Yes, the fuck they are. Look, why would they be doing this? But they can easily throw people off by having them show up at an award ceremony and meet. Well, guess what? This is Justin Bieber, and this is a fake doppelganger Justin Bieber. This is two people who are playing, this is the same Justin Bieber playing two different roles. And then this is a fake Justin Bieber, and here's Justin Bieber as Bad Bunny. So they have a fake Justin Bieber who can hang out with Bad Bunny at awards ceremonies to keep people from figuring out that it's the same guy. Well, look, this Justin Bieber don't look like this Justin Bieber. I'm not fucking stupid. This guy right here is not the same as this guy. This is the real Justin Bieber, and this is also Justin Bieber. This is a fucking fake Justin Bieber. Do we understand ourselves? Look, they both have the same earring. They both have the same ear. Same earring, same ear, same pink pouty lips. Come on, y'all. This is also Justin Bieber playing the role of The Weeknd. They've got multiple different versions of The Weeknd as well, so I think they can even have other dudes pretend to be The Weeknd to throw a monkey wrench at everyone. Both these guys performed at the Super Bowl. Got the white suit and tie, white gloves, black tie, black gloves, the duality. Justin with The Weeknd. Just so happens to be friends with him too. Just so happen to have these pictures. There you go. Justin is Bad Bunny and The Weeknd. You can disagree with me, but then you have to say that Justin hangs out with Bad Bunny and takes gay pictures with him just because he loves him so much. You have to take that stance. I don't have to take that stance because I know that they're the same person. So the fact that they're doing this new shit where they have Bad Bunny dressing up like some old guy. Let me pull that back up. This is just there to cause even more confusion. See? So it's Justin Bieber dressed up as Bad Bunny, and then they dress him up as an old man with the hyper-realistic mask.
Artista. Todo lo que hago, incluyendo la música, lo hago con la intención de que cada cual sienta algo distinto, algo personal. Entonces, si estamos siguiendo el camino.
That's why his Spanish sucks so bad. It's almost like they had Justin Bieber hang out with a Spanish teacher for the last year, 2 years, so that he knows just enough to pull it off. Okay, so we're gonna go back to the other photos, and then you're gonna have to take the stance that these two guys hung out and took gay pictures together. You have to think that this actually happened, that these two guys hung out and did this. Look, he's staring through him, bro, because he's not there. It's a fake picture, man. Why would they take this picture? Oh, Jake, it's because Justin Bieber and Bad Bunny are gay for each other. Yeah, that's it. They're the same person, dude. Same person. See? Same hair. Same face. Same fucking shirt. Same song. Same guy. Oh, now they look different? It's because this isn't the real Justin Bieber. This is a fake Justin Bieber. And here's Justin Bieber pretending to be Bad Bunny. That's cool. Hey, if you want to believe that those two guys are different guys who hang out together and wear leather and take gay pictures with each other, go ahead. That doesn't make sense at all why Justin would do that with his fame. But if Justin wanted to be two people and make sure that his other characters are equally as famous as himself, then it makes perfect sense. So everything that I've pointed out makes perfect sense to me. And I showed you all the links. And they have Fittest Flat Earther spinning a story that Bad Bunny is Enrique Iglesias. So they have a shill, Fittest Flat Earther, saying that Bad Bunny is Enrique Iglesias. So he's spinning a different story than what I'm saying. And he even came over to my channel before I started calling him out and told me I was wrong. Therefore, letting me know I'm probably right. And I haven't seen anyone else call this out or make any videos about it. I've seen people make videos saying that Justin Bieber plays The Weeknd, but nobody's called him out for playing Bad Bunny. And it's pretty fucking obvious. Go watch the interviews where he like has glasses and a hat and won't show his face, and he gets all nervous and shy. It's because it's fucking Justin. Anyway, so I did an entire stream about that back when Bad Bunny did the Super Bowl performance. So if you want to watch my entire breakdown of that, just scroll back to a few months ago when he did the Super Bowl show. All right. So thank you, Suzette Ann, for bringing that up. I did not know that they had Bad Bunny dress up like an old guy. And it makes sense. It's Justin Bieber wearing a hyper-realistic mask. So then you have Bad Bunny wear a hyper-realistic mask, but you let everyone know that it's Bad Bunny in a mask to confuse the fuck out of everyone that it's Justin Bieber in a mask. Pretending to be another guy in a mask. All right. It's All Melted Building says, since you've been exposed as a shape-shifting archon, couldn't you become president and give us a break 4 years from these pathetic president puppets? Well, all right. As you all know, I expose Jake the Awake as a bloody shape-shifting moldy roller. He plays multiple roles. He plays the role of Nick Johnson, also plays the role of President Donald Trump, who also plays the role of Elvis Presley. Therefore, Jake the Awake is actually Elvis Presley. He's a shape-shifting bloody icon. Now, the shape-shifting disinformation and misinformation that comes from guys like Fittest Flat Earther is there to keep you from talking about hyper-realistic masks. They just showed you Bad Bunny putting on a fucking Hollywood-style mask to become an old guy. And then you've seen, Robin Williams become Mrs. Doubtfire. You've seen Johnny Knoxville become Bad Grandpa. So Hollywood-style makeup and masks, they've only gotten better and better at doing that. And so you have to figure the absolute best that they can do is going to transform a person completely. And you're not going to know unless you're really, really paying attention and you know about the masks. So they got guys like Fittest Flat Earther spinning stories about fallen angels and shape-shifting so that you don't talk about the masks, so that you don't think about the masks, so that people in general don't say, hey, that guy's just wearing a Hollywood mask, essentially, right? And playing a different role. So what they do is they have Fittest Flat Earther say it's a fallen angel and the Nephilim, and they're shape-shifting. So the whole reason the Fittest Flat Earther character exists is to keep you from talking about or thinking about hyper-realistic masks and people actually playing multiple roles. LaFleur Network says, this is your #1 truther source right here on YouTube with Jake the Awake. Smash the like button. Go back and double check that. Like and subscribe. Hey, you guys, you're not going to hear this anywhere else. I know for a fact I'm the only one talking about how the hantavirus script might be a successful quarantine script. I'm the only one to bring that up. And I'm the only one to tell you the truth about Justin Bieber also playing the role of Bad Bunny and The Weeknd. So you're not going to hear this anywhere else. And these unique takes are only going to happen here on the Jake the Awake channel, where the show is completely unscripted, made up on the spot, And there's nothing like this of its kind anywhere. This is the only real, legitimate truth and comedy podcast of its kind. So yes, show your appreciation. Let the algorithm know that you like this content. Smack the thumbs up button right now if you're watching live. Everybody, you watching right now, yeah, you, quit scratching your ass, hit the thumbs up. And you who's watching the replay, yeah, I'm talking to you right now who's watching the replay. Yeah, smack the thumbs up. Even if the stream is no longer live, it is still important that you hit the thumbs up no matter when you hear this. If everybody and their mama hit the thumbs up, we can send a signal to YouTube that this is the most awesome stream in the world. All right, there you go. There's enough promotion and hype. For the time being. Okay. All right. Sumbulum says Biden had a lot of fakes, and I exposed that the whole time he was in office. I exposed that they were using different actors to play the role. I gave some speculation that they used multiple actors like probably Jim Carrey and Dana Carvey and maybe even several other characters. In fact, it might have been like an ongoing gag in Hollywood that, 50 different major actors played the role of Joe Biden at one point. Maybe 100 different major actors have played that role. So we saw different versions of Joe. Sometimes he could barely form a sentence and he would mumble and stumble through his speeches. And then there were other times he could do a full paragraph, full speech, and speak just fine. And it didn't seem like he had dementia or anything. And so there were different versions of Joe where it was like he's suffering from full-on dementia and can't even coherently make it through his speech. And then there's other times where he spoke just fine and didn't stumble over his words at all. And so I have to figure that they not only used different actors, but they also used AI. And so I was here on this platform talking about it the whole time. Nobody can ever say that I didn't call out Joe Biden. In fact, there's people who've come along in the last 4 years and they'll say, you didn't say this about Joe Biden. And I was like, yes, I did. So yeah, I made songs talking about Joe Biden, touching children. I even made a song called Fuck Joe Biden. I made videos exposing that he was being played by different actors and AI. So I exposed the shit out of that. And then I just continued once Trump took over. So whoever the next president is, my guess it'll be some liberal. You better believe I'm going to bust their ass too. And it would make sense that whoever the next president is going to be, they're going to have multiple people playing the role, multiple doppelgangers, and AI playing the role as well. So whatever tricks they're using right now, you better figure they're going to continue with those same tricks, and they're probably even going to get better. So whoever the next liberal selected president is, you better believe I'm going to be here doing the same thing, busting their balls and calling it out. Rick Adema says, need to make a song called Fuck Donald Trump. Now, I had a song about Joe Biden, and it was only like 1.5 minutes long. I should probably just pull it up. I haven't played it in a long time. All right, here it is for your listening pleasure. I haven't played this song in a while. From 4 years ago, Fuck Joe Biden.
Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe Biden. Fuck Joe
you, Joe. They say, fuck Joe Biden to everyone they know. They be chanting at the game, chanting up your name. They say, fuck Joe Biden each and every single day. Yeah. Fuck Joe Biden. 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 Fuck Joe Sniffing little girls, sucking, fucking up the world. He wants to jab you, he wants to jab me, he wants to jab everyone in your family tree. Fuck your body. 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 Fuck your body.
See? I was calling out the last president. So yeah, every once in a while, some magatard or Trump taint licker will come along and they'll say, how come you never called out Joe Biden? And I'm like, I did. You must not have been watching my channel and made an incorrect assumption, dickwad. So yeah, it's happened several times. Some magatard will show up in the comment section and incorrectly assume that I never called out Joe Biden. And I only was mean to Trump. Nope. I busted Joe Biden's ass the entire time he was in office, relentlessly. Nobody can say I didn't. Rocky's here. Rocky Shepherd says, Statue of Liberty is Lucifer, the false light bearer. I like in Ghostbusters 2 when they get the Statue of Liberty to come to life and then like walk around. I know your love keep on lifting me higher and higher and higher. And then like Statue of Liberty is like crushing cars walking around New York City. Ghostbusters 2. Your comment totally brought me back Ghostbusters 2 memories. Now I'm like, I've got Ghostbusters nostalgia vibes. You know your love keep on lifting me higher, higher and higher. All right. Sorry. Rickademus says that's better music than Justin Bieber and Timberlake combined. Yes. That's right. I'm an artiste. That was some of my art, right? I'm a musical artiste. And fuck Joe Biden is some of my artwork, right? I bestowed upon you some of my fine art. All right. I already read that one. My bad. Gusty says, my dad is watching Epstein Files stuff right now. Tell him to stop and it's fake. Yeah, Epstein shit. It comes from the mainstream media who gets it from the government. So the government lets the mainstream media have these files so that the mainstream media can tell you and I and everybody watching about these files. So the information comes from the mainstream media, who gets it from the government. You know, those two sources who are totally trustworthy and never lie. Hey, when did you learn about Jeffrey Epstein? How did you learn about Jeffrey Epstein? Seems like when I was a kid, no one ever said his name. Never, not once. Seriously, when I was a kid, nobody ever, not even once, ever said Jeffrey Epstein's name. It wasn't until I was an adult a few years ago, or whenever the story about him broke was, and it was a television story. So they bring him up on TV, and that's how everyone learned who he was. So none of us would even know who he was had the TV not told us who he was, and told us all these people who he supposedly hangs out with, and told us about his island. So you have to get informed on who he is and what he's done and who he's hung out with by the government and mainstream media. Two sources who I don't trust. So when I think, hey, how do I even know that this was ever a real guy? As in, how do I know he's not just a made-up character? Seems like they could just make up a character and make up this whole story based on a character who never really existed in the way they say he did. So if it's just an actor playing the role of a guy named Epstein, and then they just make up a whole backstory, how do I know that's not what they did? That's what I think they did. They just made up a character and this whole backstory, and they got everybody to bite into this Epstein character because he supposedly offed himself while in prison on suicide watch. So then they get you to buy into the fact that, oh, he must have really been a real guy who was killed while he was locked up, and all of this stuff must have actually happened. Oh, and there's files. So they get people to fall for these files as if like the mainstream media and the government have access to a database where all of the bad stuff that bad guys did was put into this database so that they could share it with us all these years later. It doesn't make sense. Like if you're a bad guy and you're high up the chain, you're some elitist billionaire type, are you really going to let the bad things that you do get cataloged into a database that the TV is going to talk about for a bunch of fucking TV watching sheeple to learn about all the bad stuff you did? Seems like to me, if you're a bad guy doing bad things, that you're going to keep that on the down low. Especially if you're some elitist type, you're probably going to keep that shit on the down low. You're probably not going to stick your nose out far enough to where everything that you've ever done is cataloged and kept into files. So they trick you into thinking that bad guys are doing bad stuff, and the bad stuff has been kept track of for all these years. And the mainstream media and the government are nice enough to let us know about these things so that we're well educated and informed. When you really go through it step by step, like none of that makes sense. So yeah, I don't believe in in any of their Epstein file stories whatsoever. And I believe that Epstein is a made-up character on the world stage. And they try and tug on your heartstrings. Well, don't you care about the women that were taken advantage of and the children? There's people taken advantage of all over the world, even by non-elites. What are you going to do about it? Nothing. What have you done about it? Nothing. So anybody trying to play the "but my children" card, doesn't work with me. Jake, are you saying that the elites don't do anything to women and children behind the scenes? No, I'm not saying that at all. What I'm saying is the shit on those files ain't trustworthy and probably isn't true at all. And any little bits of truth that they mixed in there, they probably mixed it in with so much bullshit that what little truth you do get out of it has been completely contaminated by the bullshit that they mixed. Like supposedly on the Epstein files, they pointed out that Joe Biden has been replaced. But they also say that he was executed by a firing squad in Guantanamo Bay and some shit like that. So I don't believe any of their horse shit. that's attached to those files. And like I said, there's guys in positions of power who I'm sure are doing terrible things to women and children behind the scenes. But there's also guys who aren't in positions of power who are doing terrible things. There's some crackhead in your hometown who's trafficking and doing all sorts of terrible things. And what are you doing about it? Nothing. What's anyone doing about it? Nothing, right? So let's not act like it only counts and we should only care if it's on some elitist's island. Oh, Jake, I don't care about what goes on in some crackhead trailer park. I don't care if some kids in a trailer park in my hometown get taken advantage of. I care about them women and children on Epstein's Island, though. Those are the ones I really care about. Doxological Thinker with a donation says, imagine if the island was real. Anything goes on this island, no matter how depraved, and no one will find out, but you have to write everything down. Total BS. So they even have like these videos where people supposedly visit the island and stuff like that. Yeah, man. Anytime the news is talking about this juicy information that they are going to release and expect you to get all excited, like, ooh, I get to have this juicy info, and then they name drop these famous people, right? It's like, come on. They're purposely trying to get you to consider these news stories juicier and more important than the others. Yeah, I don't care about what some crackhead does to some children in my local hometown. I want to hear about what happens on that fancy island with all them beautiful underage girls and all those high-profile celebrities. That's the real stuff that I care about, yeah. High-profile debauchery. It's way more entertaining and important to the sheeple than any low-profile debauchery happening around their own hometown. It's not a very popular thing to say that people don't give a shit about the women and children in their hometown being taken advantage of by non-elites. Oh, but those elite pedos. Oh, well, we should all just come out of the woodworks and share these videos and clips of these Epstein files. Yeah, these are points that none of the other channels are going to make. So a lot of the controlled opposition channels will lead you down the Epstein rabbit hole. And they'll tell you things like, this cruise ship is a distraction from what's on the Epstein files. It's all a big distraction from what's going on in this other cruise ship where there's a bunch of PDF stuff going on. It's a big distraction from this other story. And my point I made earlier, all the stories are coming from the same scripted news writers. They're faking all the news stories. All the news stories are scripted ahead of time. So how can they distract you from one fake story when all the stories are fake and scripted? They're trying to distract us from something, but it ain't the last fake news story. Instead, they're trying to distract us from waking up to the fact that this place ain't what we were told. This reality ain't what we were told. And there might be something more to it. Like we might all have some ability, some talent, some superpower that we're unable to harness because we can't truly figure out who we are and what's going on in order to use it. So they keep people entranced in this fake reality believing a bunch of stuff that's not real, and then they never figure out who they really are. They never figure out their true talents. They never become the person they're meant to be. So they can essentially, by controlling reality, keep people from becoming who they were meant to be, who they could be, right? And they can control who you do end up becoming and what you end up becoming by controlling what you think and feel at all times. They can mold your personality, shape what you think about, shape your thoughts by controlling what you perceive to be, or what everyone perceives to be, reality. So perhaps the point of all this distraction that they got going on all the time is to keep people from figuring out that this realm is not what they said. Keep people from figuring out how to harness the powers of this realm. Keep people from exposing what I'm talking about right now. All right. And with that said, I'm getting a little tired. We've been on here almost 3 hours, and that's usually when I wrap up my streams. So we'll go ahead and wrap it up here. I said what I needed to say, got through these subjects, and getting a little tired and hungry now. Ralph wants to go out on a walk. So I'm thinking we'll let you finish up the rest of your Wednesday night, and you guys can enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, if it's still Wednesday where you live right now. And I'll catch you guys in the next video or the next live stream. So thank you guys for hanging out tonight. The support was awesome. Extra big thanks to all of the super chats, you guys. I had a ton of super chats come in tonight. So thank you to all of the super chats. And some people sent multiple super chats, which is greatly appreciated. So until next time, this is your favorite content creator and mine signing out. Ralph's here as well. Have Ralph say goodbye to everybody. Say bye, Ralphie. Say bye. Good night, guys. Peace out. Much love. You guys are awesome. The best damn audience a content creator on this platform could ever have. Thank you for hanging out with me again on another wacky, wild Wake 'em Up Wednesday. Until next time, peace out, much love, good night, bye-bye.